And let's talk about the BioSecure Act a little bit. What are the limitations and how it's changing now?
That is a great lead in to what I know is
It
going to be
is.
the most exciting conversation. So, at a very short version, it is an act that is focused on five Chinese companies. And it focuses on BGI, or Beijing Genomics Institute, MGI Tech, Wuxi AppTech, Wuxi Biologics, and Complete Genomics. So these are all Chinese companies. And if you are a company in the US that has any federal contracts, you may not use those five companies for any genomic sequencing, for any drug development services, for anything that touches American patient data, and now that is the law. So that is for sure. However, there are also a lot of areas that it doesn't yet touch, and maybe we'll talk about where that may be going given some current events. But what it
May I
doesn't
ask one
touch,
question real
oh,
quick?
of course.
And the question is, I've also seen letters go out from Congress where they're trying to add companies constantly to the BioSecure Act. Do you see that as something that's going to continue right now as well?
Ooh, great question. I do. I absolutely do believe that the Biosecure Act is not the end all be all. I believe it should instead be seen as an early signal of where the regulatory environment is going. And I think we're going to see, because the Biosecure Act, I mean, it is a great precedent, but because it is so narrowly focused, I mean, it is only targeting companies with federal contracts. It's only targeting those five Chinese companies. It doesn't touch APIs, raw materials, chemical precursors. There are hundreds of other Chinese contract development and manufacturing organizations, contract research organizations out there. And so, because the Biosecure Act is fairly limited in scope, but because the problem that the Biosecure Act was intended to resolve is so much larger than those five companies and those three use cases, I think we're going to see that regulatory perimeter expand. And I think we'll see more and more of these letters, more and more either specific names or types of entities or use cases added to legislation.
So you said a little bit about what it covers. So walk me through where it's not covering and I guess what movement you're starting to see of how it's starting to start covering those issues.
Sure, sure. So there are a couple key areas where US companies do have a lot of business and research relationships with specifically Chinese companies that are not included right now in the Biosecure Act that I think will come under regulatory scrutiny in the fairly immediate future. And those are active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs, raw materials, the chemical precursors that most drugs are built from. So I think right now those are free and clear, essentially, even for those five named companies. That if the company in the US doesn't have federal contracts. So really there's still a ton of risk of exposure because those use cases are not currently regulated. So that's an area so I think there's two areas where I see the regulatory perimeter most likely to expand in the near future. One is the name and volume of the specific entities that are covered entities or will become covered entities. So not just those original five, but a broader subset. And then I also think the use cases that we just mentioned, that's going to be another area. I'm curious to see how we start looking at APIs. Like APIs, that is an area where the United States does have pretty significant concentration risk. And when you get into some of the sub-tier supply chain, a lot of APIs come from, one or two locations in China or India. So that's going to be one where I'm really interested to see what happens because it may be difficult to mitigate. But those are kind of the two areas where I think we're likely to see a regulatory change in the near future.
Speaking of regulatory changes in the near future, one, this update is because you had attended the congressional hearing and you wanted to explain a bit of what was going on there. But there's also been another update as well to coins. So please walk me through it.
Yes, I'm so excited about this. So actually, I mean, I'm like the only person that's like, oh my gosh, hearings. But so basically, I want to touch on the hearing first because, of course, that was the less recent event. And I also think it kind of sets the stage for the context to understand the recent proposed amendment to the coins legislation. So, briefly walking through, it was the United States International Trade Commission, USITC. So, they formally instituted this investigation. And the investigation was number 332610, but it was called Impact on U.S. Industry of China's State Support and Pricing Practices in the Biotechnology Center. Interesting.
Oh, wow.
So it was specifically tasked with documenting three things. So the first is going to be the degree of subsidization by the of biotechnology firms, Chinese biotechnology firms, subsidization and market overcapacity. The second is going to be examining the extent to which the Chinese state support and pricing practices are affecting U.S. market competitiveness. And then the third is going to be creating a process to report back to the House and Senate Appropriations Commission within 12 months. So this was introduced. The hearing kind of went through the observations on the market fluctuations or the market controls being perceived through Chinese state influence, subsidies, deep pricing instability, things that we have seen in other industries in the past. And now we're looking at how those perhaps unfair market driving factors are impacting the U.S. competitiveness of our own research and security. So that was setting the stage a couple weeks ago. And then, of course, yesterday, we have another exciting development. So this was a bipartisan House bill that was proposed to require government screening of U.S. investment in Chinese biotechnology in the wake of two recent pharmaceutical deals, potentially worth more than $10 billion each. So this would be a proposal to add biotechnology to the Coins Act. And the coins legislation, there was a draft being marked up, this potential amendment, and so it looks like that has been formally introduced. So that has been exciting. So going back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, looking at these as signals to the broader market. And the biotechnology kind of research base in America, that the regulatory environment is likely to move. I think all of these things are signaling that there will be some pretty significant changes coming up. So under this new proposed bill, any licensing deals, any joint ventures, any equity investments in China could be subject to both Treasury and Department of War reviews. So I think that's very interesting. That would obviously be very wide-reaching, and we're going to have to see what comes out of that. But I think it's the Coins Act. I mean, it's typically referred to just as the Coins Act. The acronym actually technically stands for Countering Our Innovative National Security Rivals in Biotechnology Act. But it was originally intended to extend the BIOSECURE style restrictions from just those 5 named entities to whole categories of Chinese biotech companies more broadly. And that's what I think we're seeing.